It was a moment that no one expected. A raw and deeply personal scene that forever changed the way fans looked at Jung Hae, the actor known for his calm demeanor and heart-melting smile. A quiet afternoon inside the pristine halls of Samsung Medical Center in Seoul. The 37-year-old star could no longer hold back his emotions. His voice trembled. His eyes glistened. And tears slowly rolled down his cheeks as he stood before a small group of reporters and fans. Holding in his hands the most precious image of his life, his baby's latest ultrasound picture. The news of Jung Hae's impending fatherhood had been circulating for weeks. But this was the first time he addressed it publicly. The gathering at Samsung Medical Center was meant to be simple. Just a heartfelt sharing with those who had supported him throughout his career. But what unfolded was far more moving than anyone anticipated. As he walked into the modest conference room, dressed simply in a beige sweater and dark slacks, the actor's usual composure seemed to falter. He clutched the small photo printout close to his chest, as though protecting a fragile treasure. And when he finally raised his head to face the cameras, his eyes were already wet with emotion. "I didn't think I would cry today," he admitted softly, his voice breaking slightly. "But when I saw my baby on the screen earlier, it felt like my whole world stopped." Those words alone were enough to send shivers through the room. Reporters, who had come expecting a routine statement, found themselves witnessing one of the most vulnerable confessions of Jung Hae's life. The ultrasound appointment earlier that day had been routine, just another checkup in the long journey of pregnancy, but it turned into something far more profound for the actor. According to staff at Samsung Medical Center, and his wife arrived in the late morning, accompanied by a small security detail to avoid drawing attention. They were greeted by their obstetrician, Dr. Kim Ji-soo, who had been overseeing the pregnancy. The couple was led to a private ultrasound room. The soft hum of machines filled the otherwise quiet space. As the technician applied the gel and placed the probe on his wife's belly, the screen flickered to life, revealing an unmistakably clear image of a tiny, growing baby. For Jung Hae, it was as if time had frozen. Witnesses described how he reached for his wife's hand and held it tightly, unable to take his eyes off the monitor. Baby's tiny fingers, the faint outline of a nose, and the rhythmic flutter of a heartbeat combined to create a moment so overwhelming that Jung felt tears welling up. When the doctor handed him a printout of the ultrasound image, he stared at it for several seconds before whispering something to his wife, words that only the two of them would remember. Hours later, Jung decided to do something extraordinary. Instead of keeping the image private, to share the joy with those who had stood by him for years. And so, in the very same hospital, a press room was quickly arranged. By the time reporters were seated, Jung Hae appeared, holding the ultrasound picture delicately in both hands. "I wanted to let you all see this," he said, showing the image to the cameras. "This is my baby. And today is the happiest day of my life." Jung fell silent except for the clicking of camera shutters. There was no trace of the charming actor who usually smiled effortlessly for photo calls. Instead, there stood a man overwhelmed by love, by the miracle of life growing inside his wife. As he spoke, tears streamed down his face. "And so blessed in my career," he continued. "But nothing compares to this moment. Seeing my child for the first time like this, it's beyond words." Fans around the world erupted with emotion as the story broke online. Social media platforms flooded with messages of love and congratulations. Hashtags like Jung Hae Baby and Hae Diddy trended within hours. Fans shared their own stories of parenthood, saying they related deeply to Jung's tears of joy. He commented on how rare it was for a Korean male celebrity to show such raw vulnerability in public, praising him for breaking stereotypes and sharing such a deeply human side of himself. What made this moment even more touching was Jung's candid confession about the journey leading up to this day. He revealed that he had been quietly accompanying his wife to every checkup at Samsung Medical Center, often arriving in disguise to avoid attention. "We've been keeping this part of our lives private for as long as we could," he said. "But today, when I saw our baby moving on the screen, I felt that this joy was too big to hide anymore. I wanted to share it with all of you who have given me so much love." His words painted a vivid picture of a man preparing to embrace fatherhood. He described the first time they heard the baby's heartbeat and how he and his wife had spent countless nights talking about the kind of parents they wanted to become. "I'm nervous," he confessed with a shaky laugh. "Played so many roles in dramas. But this Being a father is a role I can't rehearse for. It's real. And it's the most important role of my life. As he spoke, Jung continued to glance down at the ultrasound picture, as if grounding himself in the reality of the moment. The photo captured a clear image of the baby, who appeared to be developing healthily and strongly. Dr. Kim later confirmed to reporters that everything looked perfect. "It's always beautiful to see expectant parents react like this," she said. "But I've rarely seen someone so moved." Genuinely emotional as Jung Hae today. As the press event continued, the room's atmosphere shifted from surprise to warmth. Jung shared more about his emotional journey, revealing that becoming a father had already changed the way he looked at life and his career. "I want to take on roles that my child will be proud of someday," he said with a gentle smile. "But more than that, I want to be present. I want to be there for every milestone, every moment." Colleagues and close friends of Jung Hae quickly flooded social media with messages of support. Fellow actors like Sun Ye-jin and Hyun Bin, Ji Sang-wook, and Lee Jong-suk sent their congratulations publicly, praising Jung for his honesty and openness. Loved seeing this camaraderie between Korea's top stars, turning the emotional reveal into a celebration that transcended fandoms. The conference ended with Jung bowing deeply, his voice still thick with emotion. "Thank you for respecting our privacy and giving us space to grow as a family," he said. "Please continue to send your love and blessings. We are about to start a new chapter of life, and I can't wait for you to meet our baby someday." Stepped out of the room. Flashes from cameras followed him down the corridor. But Jung didn't seem to notice. Focus was entirely on the small black and white image he still held close to his heart. Outside the hospital, hundreds of fans had gathered, some holding flowers, others simply cheering his name. When they saw him emerge, many were overcome with emotion, their own tears mirroring his. It wasn't just a press event. It felt like a collective celebration of love, hope, and new beginnings. Side of Jung Hae walking out of Samsung Medical Center, his eyes still moist and his smile brighter than ever. An image that fans would remember for years to come. As the day one of Korea's brightest stars reminded the world that beneath the fame and glamour, he was just a man, an expectant father, feeling the overwhelming joy of life taking shape. This intimate, unforgettable moment marked not only the start of Jung Hae's journey into fatherhood, but also a new chapter in how fans relate to their idols. It was a rare instance where a celebrity's personal joy became a shared happiness with millions. And as Jung Hae drove away that day, still holding tightly to the ultrasound picture, it was clear that the world had just witnessed the dawn of a new, deeply meaningful era in his life.